begin or should we hold on for people to join?
No, I think we should start.
Okay, perfect. Let's start. So we have muting the music.
Yeah. I'm just stopping the thing as well.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Swaminarayan. Hope you're all well, and thank you for joining our GAA health webinar. We have an exciting topic ahead of us. I know the title doesn't sound very exciting, but the content definitely will be. And we're delighted to have Uttam Chauhan join us again from Wales, sunny Wales, to talk about this topic. So that's 2 weeks on the trot. He's got a packed agenda for you. So what I suggest we do is Uttam's going to share some slides with you, ask you some pertinent questions. We'll take questions as we go along as well. And what I would encourage people to do is either raise your hand or put your questions into the chat, and we'll take as many questions as we can. It's a very common topic, iron deficiency anemia, but I don't think we understand it as well as we could do. And I think that's the purpose of this session, is to raise awareness. And we will ask some questions as we go along, just to get a better understanding of what people know about iron deficiency and iron deficiency anemia, just to get a sense of the public's awareness of this. Couple of housekeeping rules. This call webinar is being recorded. So if you don't wish to be on a recorded platform, please excuse yourself and leave the chat. For those that are happy for it to be recorded or wish to share the link with colleagues, friends, family that can't attend this link, it will be available after this webinar. So that's housekeeping done. And with that, I'll hand over to Uttam Chauhan, pharmacist at North Wales Hospital. I don't know if I need any more introductions, Uttam.
No, I don't think so. You need any more introduction. Thank you very much. Thanks very much. But before we start, actually, I don't know whether people are willing to share as to how many people are taking some iron tablets.
Well, I think let's do this, and I couldn't get the poll to work. That's my skill set. But let's ask people to either raise their hands or in the chat. Let me ask the question: how many people take medication for iron deficiency? And just be honest. It's, you have to describe the medication, your conditions, but if just to get a sense, how many people are taking medication for iron deficiency? And just put that in the chat, because we can't get the poll to work, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so whilst we are waiting for that, and I think Kamlesh will tell me later on as to how many people are taking iron tablets. So here, iron deficiency, we shall, and my screen has got stuck. Okay.
Yes, I've been trying to put your face there, but
okay.
So
we shall talk about what iron deficiency is, what symptoms there are, what treatments are available, and see whether treatments are working or not, how common it is, and what kind of blood tests that are routinely done, and iron deficiency in specific diseases, and medicines that can cause bleeding. But iron deficiency is the most common nutrient deficiency in the whole world. We briefly talked about calcium deficiency and vitamin D deficiency last week, but iron is the most common one you will find in the whole world.
Yeah. No, I'm listening.
Okay.
No.
Hi, can I just ask people who are sort of unmuted to put themselves on mute whilst the seminar's on, and when you want to ask a question, we can unmute you, no problems. Thanks, Uttam.
Okay. So just close that. So it is the most common nutrient deficient anemia. Okay. Why is it not working? Okay. So iron is very, very important for every stage of life. Before you are born, while the baby is in the uterus, because the baby needs quite a lot of iron then, and after, and the mother has to provide the iron as well, and after birth as well as the baby is growing, and the years following that, in all the education years, the iron is needed throughout life. Yeah, so iron is so important in life. Even when you're working, young people, when they're working, they need all the energy, and the energy is partly provided by the iron as well. During pregnancy, iron is really important, as I mentioned, that when the mother provides the iron to the baby that is growing. Later on in life, as we are approaching in our 60s and 70s and 80s, iron is still needed, and during illness is probably needed more as well, you see. So iron is needed in every stage of life. Yeah, so it's so important. And so when iron is taken by mouth, it goes into the stomach and the small intestine, and then iron is taken up. So iron is needed in the heart for the heart muscles to work properly. It needed in the brain for the brain to work properly as well. It needed in the kidneys for the kidneys to produce the for the to respond to the iron, to produce the anemia, and the kidney is so important in the control of blood, of the red blood cells, and the and most of the iron goes in the bone marrow, you see, to form the red blood cells that you see in your blood, you see, when the blood is red, you see. So iron is just not just important for the red blood cells, but it's important for all the muscles, in the kidneys, in the brain, and the heart, you see. So it's important for everything in life. And the iron is very, very controlled in the body, you see. If you, and is very, very tightly controlled. And I don't want to go into the mechanism for that, because that is not relevant for this particular purpose, for this particular talk. But this is one of the definitions for iron deficiency, you see. The when the two main things that are considered. The hemoglobin is the how much red blood cells that are in your body, and depending on your sex, whether if it's less than 130, then you'll be called you'll be called anemic, you see. And if you're female, not pregnant, if it's less than 120, then you'll be called anemic. Most of the time in adult patients, the hemoglobin is probably running in adults around 140, 145, you see, around that mark, 150. But if the hemoglobin amount in the blood is less than 130 for males, or less than 120 for females, or if the females are pregnant, if it's less than 120, then that's called anemia, you see. So anemia is basically hemoglobin that is less than the required value for their sex, you see. And the other criteria that is present when iron is when you talk about iron deficiency is specifically one of these proteins called ferritin, where all the iron is stored, you see. And and generally, if the concentrations are less than 30, then you're considered to be iron deficient. And if the hemoglobin is less than these values, then you're called iron deficiency anemia, you see. So that's where it is. And I've taken these, most of my slides have got some references at the bottom. So if you want to follow it up and read about it, you're welcome to do so.
Uttam, can I pause you there for a second? Are we able to share the slides on the screen, or are we having difficulties with that?
I thought you were able to see it or not.
Okay.
Yes, you
Oh,
can
it's
see.
on there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Apologies. Apologies. Maybe it's just me then. So yeah, I've got it. Yes, so yeah, I had the wrong screen on. So look, we've had some great feedback in, and people have shared their experience, and really the general feeling is that a lot of people are on iron supplements of some sort, or
Okay.
another, liquid and tablets.
Okay.
So that's good to know. There are some questions which I won't go into now, but
Yeah.
a question for you. Is there a difference as to why people have liquid or tablets? Is it just digestion? Does it
Well,
work
we'll
the
come
same
to
way?
that okay, we'll answer that
Later on?
later on.
Okay, no problems. And you've talked about hemoglobin levels and being to a certain marker, and you've talked about gender, male and female, and what the marker should be. For the lay person, do they have to have, I mean, how do they find out what these markers are? Is it just blood tests?
It is blood test. It's as simple as that.
Right.
So basically, when you go to your GP and they do a basic blood test, the basic blood test will be based on the hemoglobin, on the blood. It won't be on the iron. It won't be on the ferritin. You see, it'll be mainly on the hemoglobin part of it and the relevant blood. The blood is quite a complex stuff. It's got all sorts of other stuff in it. So hemoglobin is one of the stuff that they will routinely measure.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay. Okay,
And
so it is carry on.
oh yeah, I was just going to say, and just with the you mentioned, that it's the most common nutrient deficiency, and I wasn't aware of that. Is it more prevalent in certain ethnicities, or it doesn't really matter ethnicity?
It
It's
doesn't
just
matter.
no. Okay,
Doesn't
that's good
matter.
to know. Okay, thank
So
you.
and talking going on from what Kamlesh was saying, about 1 billion people in the world will be iron deficient at this very moment. 1 billion people. So it is a big numbers these are. And in the developed countries like UK, about 5% of the adult population will be iron deficient, and they'll be anemic as well. You see, 5%. That's a big number.
Hmm.
And females of reproductive age, and they will be anemic. A third of them will be anemic. Yeah, because they tend to lose because of their females and they're menstruating the periods. And if the periods are very heavy, they lose quite a lot of blood, you see, and they become iron deficient, you see. So it is a very big problem. Yeah.
So
Okay. So
let's pause on that. So it's really important. Okay, so in the world, 1 billion people suffer from iron deficiency of some sort. So that's 1 in 8 in the
yeah,
world. It's a big
it's
issue.
a big
And
number. It is.
yeah, big number. And then you've also mentioned that the elderly, at least 5% of the elderly suffer
No,
from
or the
deficiency,
adult population.
the adult population.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then also, as from a gender perspective, women suffer from anemia in a big way as well. So it was good to highlight those points. I think they're quite important. And these are things that people can look out for. So age, gender, and that it's a very common deficiency, nutrient
Yeah.
deficiency. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So why do we get iron deficiency? Well, the main thing is poor diet. We don't. Our diet is poor, and um, and if we don't take sufficient iron when the need is quite high, then you become iron deficient. For example, in pregnancy, so the mother has to provide the iron to the baby whilst the baby is growing in utero. You see, so if the intake is not sufficient, then the mother will be struggling, and the baby won't develop very well. You see, so it's very important during pregnancy that they take sufficient iron. You see, it's and iron deficiency in pregnancy is very common. In females, I've touched on it, and whilst they are on the periods, they lose so much blood every month, and if they don't replace it, if they got poor diet, and if the iron is not very well absorbed, then they will become anemic as well. You say, yeah. Uh, so and some medicines as well, like aspirin, like ibuprofen, and some blood thinning tablets will cause iron. You lose blood from there as well. You see. So and if people give blood repeated blood donations every 6 months or every
Okay. So, no, no.
I can hear quite a lot of people talking in the background. So if they can mute their their audio, that will be great. Yeah, and the other times when people get iron deficiency is if they're critically ill, and they are in the hospital and they take repeated blood samples, quite a lot of blood samples, and the body is not producing sufficient iron, then if they're not producing sufficient blood, then they will become iron deficient as well, you see. And that is in quite seriously ill patients or in critically ill in intensive care unit. And some diseases as well, like chronic diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, people having arthritis, they can become anemic as well, you see. So I'm getting this poll all the time. So come out of that. And the other problem with iron deficiency is undiagnosed and is untreated, you see. And the reason why it is a problem to either diagnose it or it's untreated is because the symptoms develop quite slowly, you see. They don't come on suddenly. They develop quite gradually, and they're not very specific either, you see. And we'll come on the symptoms in a minute. And the other problem is that there is no universal agreed definition of iron deficiency, you see. And although I mentioned there's a ferritin of less than 30 initially, but if you've got infections, if you've got inflammatory conditions, those ferritin it increases quite markedly, you see. So the cutoff for that ferritin is not uniformly agreed, you see. So that's why sometimes you don't get a clear-cut answer on iron deficiency. So there are other markers that now people are using more and more, you see, like measuring the serum iron, actual amount of iron in the blood, raising the threshold for the ferritin, which is a storage protein. And the other thing is how much iron is actually circulating in the blood at any one time, you see. So they can measure those kind of stuff. And if they can measure that, and they can get a good idea whether the patients are iron deficient or not, you see. So those are the markers that people are now using up and down the country, you see. Okay, now I'm going to share with you a discussion that took place between three people actually, and this is from the Radio 4 program, the Radio 4 program, the Women's Hour, which is at 10 o'clock every morning on Mondays to Friday. There's some interesting topics, although the title says Women's Hour, but it is quite interesting and fascinating topics that are discussed there. I tend to listen when I'm driving the car, not at home, but when I'm driving the car. And this one took my eye, and they captured my attention because they talked about iron deficiency. And it was broadcast on the 24th of November on 2025. So it's last year. If you want to read, if you want to hear the whole thing, it's about 10-minute presentation, not too long, because they talk about other topics as well. And this is the conversation between three people, between the presenter, a consultant hematologist, and a news reporter. So I will play this to you.
With fatigue, maybe even right now on this Monday morning. So let's take a look at one potential culprit. Iron deficiency, or ID, is considered a global public health concern. Young women are a particularly high-risk group owing to regular menstruation and at times their diet. And according to the World Health Organization, at least a third of women are affected worldwide. Here's some more stats from NICE, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. They say iron deficiency causes some 57,000 emergency admissions to UK hospitals each year. Well, I'm joined by the freelance journalist and columnist Rose Stokes, also Dr. Sue Pavid, who is a consultant haematologist at NHS Hospitals Oxford and president of the British Society for Haematology. And good to have both of you with us. Good morning to both.
Morning, thank you for having
me. Morning, Nina. Let us, perhaps, I was mentioning, feeling a bit sluggish, feeling a bit tired. Is that fair, Dr. Sue, on what people would be feeling? What do you think are some of the signs of low iron levels?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Nina. I like the way you introduced it and you framed it, because I refer to this as the silent debilitator. It comes on slowly over someone's lifetime. and is accepted as the norm. So you asked about the general symptoms and signs. Exhaustion, hair loss, muscle weakness, breathlessness. There are so many symptoms. And the reason for that is because iron is needed for every single cell of the body. It's a key component of mitochondria, which are the engine rooms of every cell. And so the symptoms are numerous.
And I learned this morning it's a mineral, which I don't think I really realized before. But so you outlined some of the stuff there, Dr. Sue, and I think I mispronounced your name. It's Pavud and not Pavud.
Yes.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Rose, you wrote an article for The Guardian about how you were affected by iron deficiency. Tell us more.
Well, the article actually was about other women, but it was born out of the fact that after having my second son in last year, I guess it's still last year, I was really, really tired. I mean, tired's probably not the right word, exhausted. Couldn't really do anything more than the bare minimum in terms of looking after my kids. Brain fog, memory, and I used to sort of joke that it was like, mum brain, all the usual things. But I also had other symptoms, like my hair was falling out again. And I went to the doctors a few times, and every time was told, oh, well, you're a mum of small children. What do you expect, kind of thing. But the level of exhaustion was just so intense. And I had a funny taste on my tongue all the time.
How would you describe it?
Like metallic.
Okay.
And then I thought, and I kept getting tongue ulcers as well. This is like a weird thing that I've only just understood was related. And breathlessness, dizziness, like the doctors that I spoke to, because I have a higher BMI, said, oh, well, postnatal, you've gained weight, like you need to diet and exercise. But at that point I was so exhausted, I couldn't even conceive of the idea of exercising. Like, I mean, I'd put the kids down at 7, I'd have to get straight into bed. And I think, again, it happened slowly and quickly in a way, but it wasn't until I started to know, like, and it's not, so now sort of.
It's very clear when you list all your symptoms, you're like, how did I not know?
Well, no, because I've had an infusion. That's the important thing. So I went into the doctor. Eventually I said, look, can you just do a blood test? And when it came back and I looked at the results myself on my app, I looked it up online and it said ferritin 15. And I looked that up online and it said iron deficiency can cause all of these symptoms. Great. So I went back to the doctor, kind of victorious, thinking, okay, we can solve this. There's something going on. And they were quite dismissive. And they said, oh, well, it's not that low. And I don't think that would explain your symptoms. And it was just one of those things where I then posted online, and about 100 women came up to me. I'm not even joking. It's the biggest response I've had for anything. Eventually, when I went back, another doctor did take me seriously, went through a process of trying different iron pills, which none of them agreed with me, and then finally got an infusion. What are we in November? 2 months on from my infusion now, and I just feel like a totally different person.
Okay, so there is a lot of stuff to unpack, doctor. No, but there is, because number one, her levels were low, and I'm seeing that.
So you can see that the during that discussion, the type of symptoms that the people were getting are quite varied, and they develop quite slowly, and they're quite silent, and there are many symptoms, because as the consultant hematologist mentioned, iron is so important for every part of the body. So the kind of common symptoms people get is fatigue. They're very tired, sluggish, completely exhausted, and breathlessness as well. If you are anemic, if you're just trying to go up the stairs, and you can get quite severely breathless as well, you see. Brain fog, they mentioned hair loss as well, metallic tongue taste, tongue ulcers, and headaches. So the signs and the kind of symptoms that people get with very low iron are quite varied, but the most common ones are, I've captured them here in the slide up here. And so it's and people don't realize it, that they've got this kind of symptoms. And as the consultant hematologist mentioned as well, and during the discussions, this kind of symptoms are quite dismissed by the doctors as well. So it's only when you do the blood test proper blood test, that's when you find out that you are iron deficient as well, you see.
Uttam, can I just pause for a minute? It's only we've got a lovely person who's asked a question, and they need to jump off this call, and it's quite relevant because they've got some of the symptoms that you've mentioned. They wake up tired, and they are going to see their doctor about their iron deficiency. But the question really is, are iron supplements dangerous to take? Because one of the questions that this person's asked, the person's name is Rohit Kumar Karya. It said, does it cause constipation? Are there dangers with taking these iron supplements?
Well, if you're if you're anemic from iron deficiency, then taking these supplements as recommended is not going to harm you, because if you're already deficient, you see. But if you have, on the other hand, if you've got severe excess iron, then it will cause problems. But these particular tablets, the three that I've mentioned up here, these are the common tablets that are prescribed. In the scenario that the person mentioned, is unlikely to cause actual harm, but the thing is, it can cause side effects, you see, and the side effects are a problem with the iron tablets, you see. And
what kind of side effects? I'm so sorry to interrupt.
well, if quite a few people are taking the iron tablets at the present time, so let's ask the audience as to what kind of side effects they're
Okay.
getting. Yeah.
Okay.
If anybody wants to share what kind of side effects they're getting
Yeah.
without.
Sorry, Uttam, I have to go. I'm not being rude at all. I didn't know about this. So, okay, I'm 71. I've done well. I'm still doing well health-wise. So I had a little swelling in the liver, so I was sent to hepatologist. They didn't find anything wrong, and he says, "Well, you're very anemic." I'm seeing my doctor tomorrow. My wife's a pharmacist, but being a wife, she's worried that tablets, I mean, iron's no good. But then, well, it causes me constipation as well. And somebody says, "Why don't you go for slow release?" But the NHS will not prescribe slow release. And lastly, taking injections are no good as well. So nobody's giving me positiveness. Go for it. You need it.
Well, I do appreciate you have asked all the right questions, but I don't want to
Thank you.
give my talk away because I'm going to discuss all those things in the talk.
Oh, all right. Okay. Thank you.
We'll
What I'll
discuss.
do is I'll listen to the recordings then. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So,
Thank
so
you.
I don't want to preempt, but I will discuss those kind of things.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the kind of iron tablets that are available, and you can see them: ferrous sulfate, ferrous fumarate, and the gluconate there, you see. And the other thing that you can see on here that I've marked is that it says keep out of sight and reach of children, and as overdose may be fatal. Yeah. So iron tablets, if you're taken in by children in an excess amount or too many, they can be quite dangerous to children. So like all medicines, they have to be kept away from children at a height so they can't reach, and the adults have to supervise this, you see. So that's a very important point. Yeah. Okay. And the other thing is that although the tablet says 200 milligrams to 210 milligrams or 300 milligrams there, but the actual amount of iron that is present is different, you see. Yeah. The actual amount of iron in ferrous sulfate is 65. That's the actual amount of iron that is present in those tablets, like the ferrous fumarate is 69. And although this is a big size tablet, ferrous gluconate 300 milligrams, but the amount of iron is only 35 milligrams, you see. Now, this is the most important bit, you see, the amount of iron. Yeah. And the body needs only a very small amount of iron, you see. It only needs about 5 milligrams of iron per day to replace what it's losing, you see. So if you give too much iron, all this iron are just too much at times. And this is the problem with oral tablets. that because there's so much iron present, it does cause quite a lot of problems for the patients. And one of the previous the participant, and he mentioned constipation, you see. So constipation, and people they become nauseous, they become constipated, and they at some extreme they can get diarrhea, and those kind of symptoms prevent people taking the oral iron tablets, you see. So it's not very well tolerated at times, you see. So I don't know what the general public feel, those who are taking it. Do they generally feel that they are tolerating the iron all right, or I'll leave it to the audience to ask that.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of feedback. I mean, we've talked, constipation has been raised. There's a mention of weakness in the leg. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a condition of it.
yeah.
Nauseousness or headaches was mentioned. One question that was asked earlier on was, is there, you mentioned it a little bit, but the question was, is there such a thing as too much iron? And you mentioned that maybe the tablet form does create too much iron in the body. Is
Well, no,
it an unhealthy level of iron?
well, the thing is that the body can cope with only a certain amount of iron. You see, if you give them too much, it won't be absorbed. You see, it just gets secreted in the feces. So it's past its stools, you see, and too much iron causes those kind of problems, you see. But if the only time that too much iron would be absorbed, if there was a fault, if there was a genetic fault in the, and I don't want to go down that line at all because it's a complex matter, but let's keep it simple. Uh, and But most of the iron products that are available, the amount of iron is there. And what tends to happen is that before I go on to the next topic, if I may ask the audience, are they taking the iron tablet one time a day, or two times a day, or three times a day? What are they doing?
I take ferroglobin for
Yes.
every other day. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's very good. Every other day. I'll come back to that point.
Thank you.
Anybody else taking on tablet more than once a day?
Yes, I take ferrous fumarate 210 milligram once a day.
Or once a day, just once a day, not more than once a day.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Anybody taking anything more than once a day? No, which is, well, that's very good actually, because if you're actually buying the iron tablets so those are the tablets there that I mentioned. If you look at the back of the tablets, it says that if you are adult, you need to take 2 or 3 tablets on a daily basis, one tablet 3 times a day. So the packaging, the information of the packaging is that what that I've just mentioned. It says that you should be taking 2 or 3 tablets per day, or one tablet 3 times a day. But over the last 5-10 years, things have changed now completely, and now people should be taking iron just once a day, only once a day, or only one every other day, you see. Because if you take iron more than once a day, it doesn't get absorbed at all, you see. The body prevents iron getting absorbed, you see. So only once a day is important. And the one of the gentlemen who was going to leave early, he mentioned slow release tablets. Well, that slow release tablets don't work anyway. So there's no point wasting your money on these expensive slow release tablets. So forget it, just use the ordinary tablets. And most of the people can tolerate these tablets once a day. If you give them once a day, and if they can't tolerate, if it's causing side effects, if it's causing nauseous, constipation, or diarrhea, they can take it one every other day, you see. Just begin one every other day and see how they go with it. Yeah. Okay.
Uttam, are you able to answer some questions if I put them to you, because they're coming in thick and fast?
Okay, carry
I don't want to
on.
miss some of them, and some of them are relatively straightforward, and you may cover them later on. So, if to the extent you cover them later on, we'll cover them later on. But if you can answer some of them now, that'd be great. So, look, a gentleman, Pankaj Amlani, has asked, he's got rheumatoid arthritis, and none of the iron tablets are agreeing with him, and he gets constipation. He drinks iron water, but still feels sluggish and tired all the while. Any advice for Pankaj?
Okay, I'll address that. I'll come to that. It's later on in my talk. I'll come to that.
Okay. Another question was asked about, is it okay to take tablets with orange juice? Is there any issues of having medication with orange juice?
Well, that is a very good point, and I will address that again in a minute.
Okay. And another question was about at what time of the day should you take iron medication? Is it morning, afternoon, evening, or it doesn't really matter?
It does matter, and I will address that again just in a couple of slides.
Perfect. Let's move on
Okay,
then.
let's
Thank you.
move on then.
Yes.
Okay, so previously there were slow release tablets available and tablets that were enteric coated, but they don't work at all. They're a waste of money and just don't use them at all. And the NHS now doesn't provide them anyway, but you can buy them anyway. You can see them on the internet, and if people and other one of the colleagues mentioned there. So there's no point doing it at all. And the other important bit is once you have been diagnosed with iron, once you have been told that you are iron deficient, then the foods won't changing your foods won't is not going to improve it. You need treatment. Yeah, so you need proper treatment to get your iron levels up. Okay, now let's go back to the Women's Hour program again, and they discuss about how to take iron tablets.
Your own GP, if you have concerns about how you are feeling. Rose mentioned iron tablets, and we know that iron tablets aren't what's the correct word? Tolerated. That is exactly the word I was looking for. Tolerated by people, by some people. You can get terrible indigestion, all that, constipation at times. Many people will talk about it, and different people have different brands that they're into, etc. But would that usually be the first line of defense?
Absolutely. Iron tablets can work extremely well, particularly if they're taken correctly. So that is first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach with a glass of water or some vitamin C, an hour before any food, drink, tea, coffee, dairy, anything, because most things will actually inhibit the absorption of iron. Vitamin C is the only thing that enhances it. So taking iron tablets correctly will really help the absorption and therefore help the tolerance.
Can we? Sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I was just going to say that giving iron tablets are really important early on, so that it's iron deficiency is managed before it becomes really severe. Because once it's severe, then really the only option is intravenous iron. And intravenous iron is so effective. It's transformative for women with severe.
And I want to get that in a moment, but I'm going to go back one step more. Before the iron tablets, can we not get what we need from our diet?
Once iron deficiency has been established, dietary improvement is insufficient to correct the deficiency, but having a diet rich in iron will help prevent iron deficiency developing.
I mean, I always think kale. What else would you throw out there?
Well, actually, kale is rich in iron, but it's not very absorbable. Absorbable iron is heme iron, and that is in red meat, in chicken, in fish.
Liver.
Yes, perfect.
That's my mother used to always tell me when she fried for me on a Friday. But let's go then at the other end of the scale. Like an iron infusion, that was your own GP.
Okay, so they discussed about
your own GP.
So discussed as to how to take the iron tablets. and it's best taken in the morning with a glass of orange juice. Yeah, so I'm answering one of them. So if you take it, so if you look at this graph on the right hand side, if you take it in the morning, more iron is absorbed than if you take it in the afternoon. So it's best taken in the morning. And if you take it with your breakfast time or your coffee, the amount of iron that's taken up by is very little, you see. Yeah, but if you mix your iron and if you take it with some ascorbic acid, with a good amount of ascorbic acid, which what orange juice is, then you get more of the iron absorbed, you see. So that's why the advice currently now is to take oral iron tablets in the morning with a glass of orange, nothing else. No food for 1 hour before you take it, and no food for 1 hour after you take it, you see. And don't mix it with any other tablets either, you see. Okay, so just in the morning, you take your tablet with a glass of orange juice. If you don't have a glass of orange juice, with a glass of water, but no food, no food an hour before and no food an hour afterwards. But if you take it with food or with your cereals or with your coffee, then the amount of iron that is going to be getting into your blood is going to be minuscule. And that's not going to help you, see. Okay. And then if you're taking other tablets as well, you see, because quite a lot of people will be taking some other kind of tablets, you see. And if you're taking iron at the same time as those other tablets, then either the iron won't be getting into the bloodstream or the amount of the other tablet won't be working either, you see. So if I give you example, like if you're on antibiotics called tetracycline, or quinolones, which is ciprofloxacin, things like that, which are common antibiotics. If you're taking together with the iron supplements, they are unlikely to work, you see. So if you're taking these antibiotics for infection, if you're taking iron at the same time, then your infection is not going to be resolved, you see. So your infection won't be treated, you see. So you have to keep them separate, at least 1 hour apart, you see. And the other kind of tablets that can interfere with it is if you're suffering from Parkinson's disease and if you're taking levodopa at the same time, then the levodopa won't work, you see, either, you see. And if you're somebody mentioned rheumatoid arthritis, so they might be on penicillamine. And if you're taking iron at the same time, then the iron won't work either, you see, or the drug won't work. So it has to be separated as well, you see. And if people are taking thyroxine tablets as well with the iron at the same time, then the thyroxine may not work, you see. So it's very important to take your iron tablets on its own with a glass of water, or if you prefer with orange juice, but nothing else on 1 hour on either side. I'll take any questions now. So I think I've answered quite a few questions there that people are asking. So is there any more questions, Kamlesh?
Lots of questions, but why don't I ask the audience, if you'd like to ask them a question directly, why don't you give that a go and I can take some of the questions from the chat if there are none from the participants. So I'll open the floor up to the participants. Please feel free to ask a question.
William would like to ask a question.
Sure, go for it, Doris.
I was taken to Northwick Park Hospital.
Don't make it too
After a blood test, they said to me, my iron is very, very, very low. I was taken to a fertility ward. The doctor said I needed 1,500 milligrams of iron. Came back and he says he can't do it in one, you have to do it in two. So I had the first one of 1,000, the second the following week of 500. I went to Queen Square Hospital and the doctor said I need to have a blood test for iron deficiency. This was about 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, the doctor phoned me and said he's sending the community nurse to do another blood test for iron deficiency. Why is that? Why so many blood tests?
I'll come to that as well later on. Just hang on. Okay, any more?
Yeah, I was getting tired. So that's why I started taking ferroglobulin for every other day. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think if you're tolerating it, but if you're already tired, then you should be seeing your GP to ask them to do a proper blood test, you see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you listen to that earlier discussions in that Radio 4 program, the Women's Hour program, go back and listen to it and arm yourself. And these are kind of blood tests that I need, you see.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because the tiredness will work with oral tablets or the liquid that you take. It doesn't matter whichever, but whichever one that suits you, you have to take it on an empty stomach once a day only and see how we get on with that.
Thank you.
We've got a
I've
question.
already asked you on the chat, is Jitu, right?
Yeah, Jitu.
Can you, for vegetarians, what is the best source of iron, if there is such a thing? And another question is tablets or liquid, are the same, or one is better than the other?
Oh, no, I think the tablets and liquids, the amount of iron that's present will be slightly different per dose, you see. So one that suits you, that you can tolerate, which doesn't cause you side effects, and you can take it once a day, that's fine. That doesn't matter, but you have to keep on taking it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, in terms of vegetarian, I think our vegetarian diet doesn't help us, you see, because as it was mentioned in that discussion, the iron that is present in fish, eggs, animal proteins, that is better absorbed. That is much better absorbed than the iron that is present in our Indian foods, you see. So we just have to think about as to you may have to supplement it with tablets for oral iron tablets, you see.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Uttam. My name is Vinod. I take a bunch of tablets. Firstly, let me thank you for clarifying the instructions of taking iron tablets. I take mine at night after food, all together with my heart medication and diabetic medication. And the
No, carry on, don't worry.
no. The reactions with the other tablets is the issue. I have been having this iron deficiency for a very long time. The weakening of leg muscles is giving me a big problem, and general tiredness and lethargicness also. But I will definitely, from tomorrow, start taking my iron first thing in the morning with orange juice or maybe water.
Yeah, just
yes,
water.
Thank you very much.
Keep all the other tablets at least an hour afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Pankaj Ramlani.
Hello.
Hi. My problem is I've had rheumatoid arthritis for nearly 27 years now. Basically, I'm on methotrexate and anti-TF drugs, injections. They are helping me in some ways, and some ways they are not. But the problem is my iron level is very low. And I have tried, the GP has tried to put me on different types of iron, but nothing is suiting me at all. I get really bad constipation with it. And then they have to give me enema and stuff like that. So I'm not having any joy with these iron tablets. And somebody told me that you start drinking Spartan water. I'm drinking that, but I don't think it's helping me.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's a very interesting question, and I will answer that in a couple of slides.
Okay.
Just bear with me, and I'll answer that in a few minutes.
Okay, no problem, dear. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, shall we move on, or any more questions?
Well, I was going to invite Dementi Patel to speak. Dementi Patel, are you able to talk about your experience? Because she comes across as a role model of when to take vitamins and diet. Dementi Ben, are you able to talk?
Yes, of course, yes. I've had rheumatoid arthritis for nearly 45 years now. I'm on rituximab for that, rituximab infusion every 6 months. So I don't need to take any medication besides that. But with iron, I keep a check every 3 months, blood tests. And if it's low, then I need iron tablets. But otherwise, I just take iron tablets with vitamins. One thing, though, I've learned, Uttam, by today is, like somebody else said, I take my tablet together with my calcium with vitamin D.
It won't work.
Now, from tomorrow, it'll be first thing before breakfast on an empty stomach. So that's one thing I've learned. And I do eat a lot of spinach. Spinach is every day in some form or other. And yeah, and satsumas and oranges is again every day. So that has all helped me. I'm nearly 79 now, but like health-wise, I'm fine. It's up to me to do all this and learn. So thank you so much for this session today. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
You.
Harish Carrier has his hand up.
As you know, I'm diabetic for a long time, and you just said that to allow 1 hour after, 1 hour before. Now, I'm taking about 17 tablets, different types of tablets. If I start allowing myself time between my tablets, there's not going to be time for me to have the food. I'm probably eating more tablets than food.
I know. I think that's a fair comment that you make, but sometimes probably 1 or 2 tablets you may have to take. The iron tablets is important, but the other tablets you may be able to get them together and take it once, you see. And if you, so you may just have to have a look at your own tablets. And if there is any problems, go and have a discussion with your local pharmacy, whether they can help you to get it better. But iron tablets on its own is very important to get into the bloodstream. Otherwise, if you're taking with other things, then the other things may not be working and your iron tablets may not be working. So you're just taking it for nothing, you see, and you may be getting side effects, you see.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uttam, the question was asked about if there's any advice or information on IDA for toddlers and young kids. What's the approach and advice there?
Well, it will be the same problem. It's the same issue. So they have to, if they're anemic, they're tired, and they've got no energy other than blaming it on the mobile phones and the tablets. They need to be checked out, actually. Yeah, they need to be checked out, and they have to have a proper blood test along with the iron studies as well, you see. It is common in children as well, in those teenage years as well, you see. But my experience in children is limited. Yeah, it's very limited. Okay.
Should teenagers and young girls be routinely checked?
Well, if the girls, if especially female girls, if they have got heavy menstruation, they're losing blood, and they're feeling tired and sluggish, and if they can't, and their diet is not keeping up with the loss, then they have to be checked out, actually. And it is very common. Iron deficiency is, as I mentioned, a third of the female population will be anemic. You see, if they've got heavy menstruation, it's something that we don't talk about.
Why are women more prone to iron deficiency?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Because of you losing blood every month. That's the commonest reason.
So it's very similar when person is going for dialysis. Like, for example, I used to be a dialysis patient, and every 3 months they had to give me the liquid
Yeah.
iron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
And,
So
go on, Spalanka.
are iron injections no, no, you did answer that. Sorry. You did.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that in a minute. Okay.
One thing is, I mean, Uttam, you mentioned this thing about educating, young ladies who, menstruating, and you're right, it's just not talked about, right? And young people don't know; they just think it's sort of normal, and they're feeling weak because of the fact of their period, right? But actually, they should be encouraged by parents who, may see the signs before their child in a form of
Yeah.
education that get this seen to, right? This may not be normal, right?
True. True. Yeah. If they're persisting, yeah, they have to be seen.
So advice for parents on this call, your chance that your young daughter may not be aware of the symptoms, so please advise. Question, iron biglycinate, is that a good form?
It doesn't matter which iron you take, as long as the amount of iron that is present. In my talk, I mentioned the different kind of salts. You see, the sulfate salt, the fumarate salt, and it doesn't matter. The actual amount of the iron that is important. You see, whichever you can tolerate, carry on with it, but once a day.
Great. I think we've gone through all the questions.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, please.
I'm 78 years old. I suffer from spinal stenosis, scoliosis, and recently my body is getting very, very stiff. I'm very difficult to walk, move around. What's the reason? What could be the reason? Iron deficiency.
Have you tested for iron deficiency?
Iron deficiency. This is 1 point down. 1 point down. That's all it is. It's 1 point down. Otherwise, it's okay.
Yeah. So your hemoglobin may be just slightly low. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can manage it and if you can cope with it, that's fine. But the main thing is not the hemoglobin as well, but the other test for iron, which the GPs unfortunately don't do, and that was also discussed in that particular program in the Women's Hour. A GP don't just look at just the standard blood test, you say, but when the hemoglobin is less than the for your sex, then it has to be investigated further, you see. And one of the investigation further is to do some additional blood tests for iron, you see. But they don't take that forward, you see.
I'm going to see.
So if for example, I think in England you get your NHS app, and in England you get all your blood results on the app. You can see it yourself. Is that true?
It's true.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it's
is.
true.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, you can see everything.
So if you can see everything, and if your hemoglobin is less than 130 consistently, then and it's staying consistently under less than 130, and you're feeling not well and you're tired and everything, you should push for them to do some further tests. You have evidence in front of you.
I'm going to see a neurologist tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Park Hospital. What should I be asking? Well,
if you say that your hemoglobin is on the low side, can you test for iron deficiency, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is the body getting so stiff every day? It's getting stiffer and stiffer.
Well, there could be other reasons as well. It's not just iron. So I don't get into that line, please, if you don't mind.
Walking is very difficult.
That's a very specific issue to you.
Walking is becoming very difficult now.
Yeah.
Walking is becoming very difficult now.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I think we'll just talk about generally about iron, whether unless you do specific test to find out if it's iron deficiency, then you can address that. But if your iron levels are normal, there could be some other issues as well.
Is iron deficiency linked to thyroid issues?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Is it very common in people with diabetes?
No, I don't think so. It's just as common as in general population. I don't think so.
Okay. So can gut problems also affect iron absorptions?
Sorry, gut?
Gut
Yes,
problems.
yes. So if you've got inflammatory bowel disease, like celiac disease or ulcerative colitis, other kind of gut problems, then the iron absorption will be difficult. And sometimes the iron tablets will upset the gut itself, so it won't work properly very well either, you see.
Mm. All
Can
yours?
I?
Well,
Yeah, just quick question. I have regular blood tests, about 8 or 9 or even 10 sometimes. But I've never seen on there. I'm more paper based. They give me a printout. I've never, don't think I've ever taken any blood test. Don't feel bad or tired, anything like that. Can I suggest amongst the other tests they're doing, whatever 8, 9 tests, that they should do one of blood tests regularly as well?
Well, you can ask them and see if your hemoglobin is above 130, there's no need to
Right.
do it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Generally, they wouldn't do it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. So we've discussed why you take it. So how long do you take the oral iron? So they will have done a blood test before, and then they will have prescribed the iron. And the subsequent next blood test should be around a week after starting treatment. And basically, what they want to see if your hemoglobin has gone up, you see, and it has to go up by about 20 grams per liter. And if it's gone up, that's well and good, you see. And then you just continue taking your iron tablets. Uh, and they need to recheck it after about about 2 to 4 months, just to make sure that hemoglobin has maintained there, has been above 130 if you're a male, or above 120 if you're a female, you say. And once it's maintained at that level, then you need to continue for another additional 3 months to build up your iron stores, you see. So treatment with taking iron tablets is a long-term thing. It's not just it's not a 1 week course or a 1 month course. If you tolerate it, you have to take it for a long time and make sure that the hemoglobin is being maintained, you see. So that's very important as well. Now, we have mentioned about iron, but there are iron injections available, and somebody touched on it as well, mentioned it. So there are the three in this country available, you say. The Ferinject on the left, the Monofor in the middle, and the Vinofor on the right-hand side, you say. So these injections have been available for the last probably 10 years or so in this country. And this availability of these injections has really brought about a massive change in how we manage iron deficiency, you see. And the advantage of this intravenous product is that you get your dose of iron in 1 dose or 2 dose, as I think Doris's husband mentioned, you see. So he had iron infusion, he had 2 doses of iron infusion, you see. And it will build up his iron stores. And that's probably what all he needs, you see, for at least a year or so, you see, unless there's something else going on.
One question, if you don't mind. When you have 1500 whatever it is, of iron, how long do you have to wait for that to be absorbed completely in the body?
Well, it's the advantage of giving it into the vein is that all of it gets into the bloodstream straight away, and then it's stored in the blood, you see. And it is once it's stored, it's not really just it gets stored in the in the cells, and then it is slowly released as and when it's needed, you see. And that amount of iron, as I said, probably will last you about 6 months or longer, you see. That's all what you need. Or in some cases, it may last you for good.
And in William's case, he was asked to go for repeated tests. Is that only because they're trying to regulate the level in his
No, well,
system?
they need to do a regular, just like what I mentioned, taking the oral iron tablets, the same kind of tests happen with when you're on injection iron as well, you see. So, and just to make sure that your body has taken up and your hemoglobin is coming up and it's been maintaining. If it's not working, if the hemoglobin is not coming up, there's something else wrong, you see, which they need to investigate, you see.
Is there,
carry on.
Can you get iron tablets or iron liquids over the counter without prescription? Can one take it upon themselves to go and supplement the
I think you can, because they're pharmacy only products, so you need to go and ask them, you need to buy them. Yes, yeah.
You can do.
Yeah. But even if you buy them and if you follow the instructions, as I mentioned earlier on, the instructions on the tablets, on the packaging that you get, they are not up to date. So, and you need to take the iron only once a day, not more than once a day, because the instructions on the packaging, as I showed to you on the slides, will tell you to take it 2 or 3 times a day, you see.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so iron injections are available. And the other advantage of iron injection is that they work very quickly and your hemoglobin goes up very, very quickly as well, you see. So they work quickly and they're quite very safe. In the past, I don't know the audience age here, but in the past, iron injections were terrible actually. But this new injections are very safe. They're very, very widely used now up and down in the NHS and worldwide as well, you see, because they're so safe now. Unfortunately, they come with a price, you see. Iron tablets are very, very cheap, but the injections, on the other hand, they're quite expensive actually. As you can see, monophorapia 1 gram will set NHS back by about 340 pounds per one gram, you see. So they're very, very expensive. And so why do we use intravenous iron? We use it because the hemoglobin comes up very, very quickly. So it is used in people who can't take the oral tablets. They've tried oral tablets and the hemoglobin just does not come up. So, or they have side effects to the oral tablets. And that's the reason why we tend to use it, you see. And we tend to use it in some specific clinical conditions. I'll come back to that in a minute. But it does require a hospital visit. It is given into the vein, and each infusion will last for about 30 minutes. And after the infusion is finished, in this country, it is mandatory that you stay in the unit for at least another half an hour just to make sure that you are well and the injection has not upset you, because there is a very rare risk that it can upset your breathing and things like that, you see. But if they look after you and they keep you for 30 minutes and you're fine, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Then you're doing well, you see. So where do we use intravenous iron? It has already been mentioned by Panna that in patients with chronic kidney disease, we tend to use intravenous iron only, you see. In people with heart failure, oral iron doesn't work, so we have to give it by injections there. In patients with inflammatory bowel disease, like celiac disease and other kind of diseases, oral iron upsets them, so we sometimes have to use intravenous iron, you see. Yeah. If people are going for surgery and if the surgery is going to be longer than, say, 2 months, so if you've been given a date and the date for surgery is more than 2 months, they probably ask you to make sure that your hemoglobin is at the right level in the normal range. Because if the hemoglobin is not right, if it's very low, the complications of the surgery becomes quite severe, you see. So that's why we tend to give intravenous iron just to make sure that your hemoglobin does come up quite nicely up. So people who are pregnant, if they can't tolerate iron, as I've mentioned, the need for iron in pregnancy is quite high. So we tend to use intravenous iron in that particular patients as well, you see. In cancer patients, in intensive care patients as well, we tend to use intravenous iron as well. There was one slide actually. So, and the problem with intravenous iron is that they need to tell you they're going to what it does involve. They need to consent that you're agreeing to take this intravenous iron, and the venflon has to be into the vein itself. If the iron leaks out into the tissues, then you'll get this staining up here, and that will stay with the rest of your life. So it's permanent staining, you see. But those are very rare, so that shouldn't happen at all, and it depends on the skill of the nursing staff giving it to you, you see. And I think there's one slide missing from my talk. The other thing that was mentioned, somebody asked, is that rheumatoid arthritis people mentioned. Now, in some conditions, in some chronic conditions, including heart failure and chronic, the iron that you give as a tablet just doesn't get absorbed at all, you see. And rheumatoid arthritis is one of those kind of conditions. So one of the female members of the audience asked about that, you see. So if you have got chronic diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, heart failure, they should have picked it up that you need to be, if you're constantly tired, hemoglobin is on the low side, they need to do iron studies, and you should be you need to be investigated more, because oral iron does not work in those kind of patients, you see, at all.
So are these injections available on NHS?
Yes, they are available on the NHS. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you about it.
Okay. So what was the problem before with the injections, and now why is it safe?
Well, before these newer products are much safer now, and it is used quite commonly now, routinely. If it was not safe, people wouldn't be using it. Previously, the old products, they had to be given by eye intramuscular injection into your muscles, yeah, which is very painful, and it's not only one dose, but you have to have a series of doses, which is be very painful. So people didn't like that. So that was one problem. The other problem was that it had to be given, or the other injections had to be given over a period of about 5-6 hours, you see. And that would mean you come into the hospital for the rest of the day, your whole day is spent there. And that is for today's NHS, that is just too much, actually, just very time consuming, you see. And you had to have a test dose to make sure that the iron, you tolerated the iron before they give you the full amount of the iron, and the palaver that was needed was too much. So this new product can be given in about 30 minutes only, you see, compared with 6 hours before. So it is very quick, very prompt, and very safe.
I know iron is a very long subject, a big subject as well. But one last question is, what is the one simple advice you would give our community to prevent iron deficiency?
Well, if it's very difficult. If I think a healthy diet is very important, healthy, varied diet. But despite that, and if you are given all iron tablets, then you have to take it correctly. Otherwise, they won't work. And they have to have regular blood tests to make sure that they are working, you see. And if you feel still exhausted despite taking those, they need further investigation.
So if someone attending tonight's session suspects they may have iron deficiency, what should be their next step?
Well, if they suspect they're having iron deficiency, then they need to do a routine blood test. And if that routine blood test shows that the hemoglobin is on the low side for their gender, and they need to seek advice as to why is it low and what are they going to do about it. And that should prompt the doctors to do further investigations.
I don't know if you want to continue next week the subject.
No, that's it. No, that's the end.
No, this is the end then.
This is the
Okay.
end.
Thank you so much.
This is the just conclusion. It is common. They need to do blood test. The symptoms are many and they develop slowly and silently. And if you're going to take iron tablets, it has to be in the morning on an empty stomach. And the tablets, if they don't work and they cause side effects, then there are intravenous injections available. And my last slide. Thank you very much.
How can I join the group?
Ranjan Ben, I'll add you in.
Oh,
I'll add you in.
Thank you, Panna. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Uttamji, for such an informative and practical session this evening. You have explained the topic in a way that is easy for everyone to understand and apply in daily life. Iron deficiency is something that affects many people quietly. And tonight's discussion has helped us recognize symptoms, understand preventions, and know when to seek advice. So on behalf of GAA London, we sincerely appreciate your time and expertise. Thank you to everyone who joined us and participated in the Q&A. Please do continue to look after your health and share this knowledge with your family and friends. So we look forward to seeing you at our future community webinars and wishing you all a healthy and pleasant evening. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uttam bhai.
Thank
you. Kamlesh,
Thank
when
you.
will the recording be available?
It's in the YouTube now.
Oh, wow.
Under what?
Fantastic.
Would it be under GAA?
Under GAA as well as, it is always under GAA, but
Thank you.
you can log in.
Yeah, I'm new to it. That's why. Thanks a lot.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Thank you. You will find under GAA Zoom group as well and on YouTube as well. Okay?
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you, Uttam
Kamlesh.
bhai.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Uttamji.
Bye-bye.
That's
Bye-bye.
very nice. Thank you. Good night all.
Good
Shubharatri.
night.
Bye.
Shubhratri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.